Hello, it's 10 o'clock in Tbilisi. It's 10 p.m. in Tbilisi, my second kind of 10 o'clock in Tbilisi. Basically, I make two videos a day. I make one at 10 a.m. Tbilisi doing an AI project related to an app that I'm building. And then 10 o'clock p.m. is where I'm working on my French. If you are here just to learn French, then today is not your video. If you are interested in how do you work with AI in order to do stuff with AI? How do you build a project with AI? And how do you build a project with like ChatGPT or Gemini? So if you're interested in making a business based on learning language, then this is probably an interesting blog for you. An interesting video for you. But I think I just had a... Uh-oh. My AI died. Oh no. Oh no. I don't like it when my AI dies. Maybe it's because I was just connecting to my live YouTube feed. All right. Did it do it? No, I didn't do it. Let me show you what I'm doing here, because otherwise I'm just looking at my screen and you don't know what I'm doing. Also, let me do an audio check. Audio check, audio check. Okay, it's good. All right, so check it out. So this is what we're gonna do. You'll never be able to, including using the word derived from. All right, so this is the problem right now. So what I used some other documents to create this calibration document, including, I want to use this word derived from. So you'll never be able to access previously uploaded documents in the future. You should delete reference to previous documentation derived from and retrieved. Okay. So let's just let this work on this for a minute. I might actually have to remove this and create another window so it can work on it in the background. Now let's jump into the iRobot Study Buddy. I showed you this in the last video where basically I want to create a new French exercise for the first part of Unit 1 from create a few French exercises from the first part of Unit 1 and then finish the calibration docs, have a meeting with the team to discuss potential exercises, look at activities, the activities section in Dave's ESL Cafe. So this is back in a website from way back in 2003. Now, if you came here to learn French, then probably the first thing you want me to do is to look at the French exercises. Don't really want to do that right now. So basically, I want to finish the calibration documents first. And then after I finish creating the calibration documents, then we are going to have a meeting with the team to discuss potential exercises. And that is where I may try to think about how I can use the activities listed on Dave's ESL Cafe, because I remember this from way back in 2003 when I moved to China to teach English. There was this website, and there was like this dude named Dave. He had a website called Dave's ESL Cafe. And basically, he was inviting teachers from all over the world to talk about the activities that they use when teaching their students English. I don't know if this website still exists. Maybe if we just put Dave's ESL Cafe, if we actually just take a quick look. Yeah, so it's now called eslcafe.com. And the genesis, in 1995, ESL teacher Dave. Yeah, exactly. It goes way back. Dave's ESL Cafe. Dave's ESL Cafe. Dave's ESL Cafe. All right, let's just jump into his website. Now, I'm curious to see if he still has the resources. So if we go into the resources, we've got grammar lessons, idiom, lesson plans, phrasal verbs, slang, quizzes, Dave's blog, forums. I don't know. Now, just so you know, I'm also using Google Gemini because I need to update this documentation. So this document is called Team Operations Manual, which means that we want to add our calibration documents. So basically we finished this. Now we need the operations manual. The Team Operations Manual is what? Document number 1. I don't know if they have numbers. Okay. This is version 1.0, I think. Anyways, it's been updated quite substantially. So let's just paste this. 13 pages. Question, do you want to go through this actual document and listen to what it's actually talking about? If you are like really deep into AI and how to build AI robots could be interesting for you. So let's go through this document. I don't know if it will actually do it because it's quite long. Still thinking. All right. Wow, it's still thinking about whether it wants to read it or not. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to read it. It's too long. It's not happy. It's using a lot of resources. Look how long this document is. Do you think it'll read it? Apparently you can't have it read one as it's creating another one. Or is it project blueprint? Okay, so this is the project blueprint. All right, well, let's go to work on that. Let's jump back into Dave's ESL Cafe. Dave's ESL Cafe is because, well, let's look into the blog. Maybe we can learn something from his blog. We got frequently asked questions. We got teaching in Korea without a degree. We got work, travel, repeat. We got ingredients to a great ESL teacher, teaching Chiang Mai, exploring ESL opportunities, beyond borders, opportunities for non-native English speakers overseas, maximize savings while teaching ESL abroad. Why I love teaching ESL, navigating this, exploring global teaching in Mexico. It doesn't seem like it's what I'm looking for. Resources is what I'm looking for. We got grammar lessons, we got idioms, lessons, slang, and quizzes. That does not. They used to have the section which was like, wow, this is years and years ago. Looking for. So it doesn't actually have it anymore. It just used to have this big long list of like the best Dave's ESL Cafe English games and activities. All right, there is a section called games, lesson plans. In lesson plans, games. So what was that in? It was in lesson plans. And then what if you go back? Where is it? It's in the lesson plan section. And in the lesson plan section, it has a games section. We got 1,000, we got 20 questions, we got 4 legs, 2 legs, none, duck, duck variation, a date with bingo, ship comes. I wonder if I could find the game I uploaded. It was called Connect Verbs and Connect 4. What was it called? Verbs and Connect 4. Actually, I don't remember what it was called. Dang. Yeah, it was definitely called Connect 4. Anyways, let's check if it's verbs. So I introduced this verb races, vocabulary grid, vocab practice video, verb races, variation of last letter, verb charades, uno, keyword, connect 4, no games, no games. Dang it. No games. Maybe they don't have it anymore. Yeah, that was a lot of years ago. Lesson plans, games. Okay. The other one is maybe it's also possible that their search function doesn't work very well. Connect, C-O-N. Connect the letters. Connect 4 verb sentences. Oh my goodness. It's going to say Blaine on it. It's impossible. Can't be here. This is from 2003 or 2000. Yeah, make a large grid. This is my game. Blaine. Look at this. Blaine, student of law, Fudan University, Shanghai, China, back in Canada, teaching English for the summer. Boolayton at yahoo.com.cn. Oh, my goodness, it still has my game. Wow. This is literally, yeah, I went back to Canada in 2000, at the end of 2000. No, it was in the summer of 2004, just when I got accepted into law school. And then I was shipping out back to Shanghai in September. I started law school in Shanghai. Whew, that was a long time ago. All right. Project Blueprint version 1. would be a living document. So we got our second document. Let's click saved. Calibration document. What is going on here? At least it put it all in one document, so I'm happy with that. Now, I mean, in a perfect world, I would read these two documents and like try to figure out the difference version 2. I would suggest probably we're just gonna not worry about it this time, because I feel like probably it's fine. Plus, it's also version 1.0, and as we work, we're gonna be changing things. We're gonna be creating updates. All right, there's oops, what's this one? Okay, understood. You've saved the blueprint. Okay, so we now have a team operations manual. We got the blueprint. The next document to create ensures self-contained incorporated relevant structural principles for the MGA example decisions log. This document will serve as a chronological auditable record of significant strategic, architectural, technical, and operational decisions made throughout the AI first blog platform project lifecycle. It will start largely as a template to be populated as we make key decisions, beginning with our current Sprint Zero activities. Here's the proposed self-contained version. Here's a template for future decision log entries. Context, the decision, the rationale, the decision maker, the status reflected in it, impacts. Interesting. I suppose this is going to update my current decision document. It's kind of the same, but I guess we made a decision. So yeah, specifically, I made some decisions on the core the project endeavors, which are an AI first blog platform, and I feel like it should be my own website. And then the next is the actual content, the exercises that are going to be the blog articles. And then this other thing, which I'm calling the iRobot, which is an AI study buddy. And this study buddy, it's like you're going to be training your robot, and your robot is only going to be able to speak French as well as you do. And so as you start to learn French, then you're going to be training your robot, and then you'll be able to practice your French with your robot. Now, I already have an idea for the first level of the robot, because in the Google AI Studio, like I can talk to their AI robot, and it's better than ChatGPT right now. Why? Because you can actually put in optional tone and style instructions for the model. So you can upload some instructions, and I'm just wondering how that's going to work actually. And I might not use this one, but I'm going to use something which is going to kind of get us going. Here's the sprints. So these are the current sprints, which I think is kind of weird. AI first vibe coding blog platform, current sprint number and name. We're going into the deep dive. I guess right now we're doing deep dive. We're going to talk about the AI platform roadmap. And then we're going to what? We're going to talk about the sprint goals. And then finalize the MVP vision statement, interactive AI coding blocks, vibe coding, service operations, the concept, refined tech stack. I don't know if we're going to actually need to do all of these things. We're doing sprint 0 apparently. And then regular continuation state, next step. So immediate next step, it's, I mean, there's not really any more to it, because we're in sprint 0, meaning our sprints didn't start yet. What is this called? Active sprint operation? How is it different from this? I don't know. I don't care. All right, so what we want to do now is, I don't think there's going to be an update for the next doc. So what we want to do now is we actually want to train our robot. I mean, not train our robot. Well, we want to train a new AI instance. So we're going to go into Gemini. And we're going to feed it these documents and see what it does. All right, so, well, I guess. So we could ask the current Gemini window that's, well, it's still producing a document. So let's maybe let it finish producing that document. So this is going to be the sprint review doc. Once saved as your per instruction, I will await your signal to proceed with creating a new AI instance of Architect, which I understand means a new chat session where you will prime me, Arrowhead, to focus primarily on my Architect AI functions with these 5 documents, and I will prepare an exhaustive exam. Now, I'm going to create a new Arrowhead that has access to all personas and management functions with the 5 docs. I need you to first create a welcome message and then create an exam. All right, so let's start with the welcome message. Oh, I gotta save this one. I bet you it's gonna, there we go. Okay. Sprint review log, good. The new sprint review log doesn't look like it changed much. Version 1.0. So this is part of my ongoing effort to keep up with technology. All right, there we go. So it's going to be project blueprint first. Okay. All right, so I'm going to feed him this. Hello, Arrowhead. Why does it think it's Arrowhead? Arrowhead. Yeah. Hello, Arrowhead. This is your user PM. You are being initiated by my primary AI partner for AI First Vibe Coding blog platform project. You're designed to roll Arrowhead AI partner embodying architect liaison AI functions and leveraging specialized function capabilities to support my personal professional growth objectives through this platform. Our collaboration will be governed by the set of 5 core project documents. I will upload these documents to you momentarily once you confirm the readiness. There are these. Our current project is Sprint Zero Vision Finalization and Feasibility Deep Dive. Immediate next task is the sprint. Okay, so feasibility, VOTSB, what is it? Vision, objective, touch base, scoreboard, brainstorm. Choose brainstorm with the user PM on 3 focus areas. Political economy, language, and software. No, that's not really correct. But okay, whatever. And then it's going to give you the context window warning. So whenever you're creating an AI instance, you have to have this situation where it's going to warn you when it gets close to like the 1 million token context window. That way you can update your documents and then you can prompt a new, you can create a new person. There. So we take this, we copy this, we pop it into this new window, like so, and we're ready to go. So this technically would be Arrowhead 1.0 because the last Arrowhead was Arrowhead Calibration. All right, so in here, we can change this, rename it to Arrowhead Calibration. And now that we have calibrated, did the calibration documents, we can create Arrowhead 1.0. And that means we're starting the project. Wow, there you go. Hello, user PM. Hello, user PM. Wants the, what does it want? The sprint active sprint operations. What? Next task is the context window management. Prepare your successor Arrowhead. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, it's got everything. You see that? So it knows this is a perfect. So I mean, because I've done this for a while now, so it means I kind of have a. I'm starting to build a process. Now there's something specific to this experience, which is going to be different than before. Something new, something amazing. Oh no, got a problem. Actually, I don't want that. How do I do undo? Undo, 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 undo here. Now, as we're doing this, I know we're going to run out of time. My little buddy Bud is actually sleeping. I know he's going to wake up. And you know when he wakes up? He usually wakes up if I touch my pocket, because he knows that if I touch my pocket, it's because I want to turn off my phone. So he'll definitely, well, if I talk, maybe he won't notice. But I'm going to turn my alarm off. There we go. Okay, we can go a few more minutes. Probably, without him noticing. I'm just giving access to Notion to access my Google account. My googly goo. He's stirring. He's going to start kicking me. You know, he kicked me the other day. It was so weird. Like really hard. He was sleeping, and in his sleep, booted me. Kicked me in the arm. It was relatively strong. All right, what does it want? The project blueprint? That is, okay, so looking for the next document. Now, as it's working on that, I'm just gonna pick up the link for the next doc. So this is like literally the way that I like this is literally like, see the issue, why is it that I have a process that's different than other people? Because other people have been using, like if you're like a real programmer, if you're not an AI first programmer, if you're like a real human programmer, then you're not going to put up with the BS that comes from AI. You're using AI, you have to deal with a lot of garbage because it's not as like perfect right now as if you're like a real coder. It's not as perfect as you'd like it to be. Yeah, it's good at like certain types of things that you want it to do, but it's not good at everything. And so if you're like a real software engineer, you're not going to put up with you will be the project manager. You will also be managing the code that it's developing. You might actually be reading the code that it's developing, and then eventually you're going to get angry because it's not doing exactly what you want it to do. And then you're going to take control of the project, and you're going to say, well, it didn't do the thing which I was expecting it to do. And then you're going to start, doing hands-on. This is what I want it to do. And so you're still not 100% like AI first mindset. So this is like another one of those Y Combinator videos that I saw, and they were talking about this concept. How do you get the first time founder mindset? Because after you've done it, then it's really hard to have that, like, I can succeed no matter what mindset. And you're just going to use like best practices, like what worked last time, and let's not use things that didn't work when we were doing this last time. The problem with like let's not do things that didn't work last time is that eventually you get into a position where maybe you need to try to do something that may have not worked last time in order for it to work this time. And so instead of having the first time founder mindset, being open to anything and everything, and then therefore being extremely uh, innovative, you're just going to say, well, what works? If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. So like I tried this already many times with my other business and never worked, and lots of people tried it and it didn't work. So once you have a mindset like think certain things don't work, then there's a potential that maybe, has it got everything? Yes. Then there's a potential. So if we finish the calibration docs, and then we looked at the activity section of yes and no. So we looked at it technically, yes, but we didn't use it to create a French exercise. All right, I've reiterated my understanding of the project. Now, of course, what I was saying is, see, it's 10:30 in Tbilisi. Okay, so then I wanted it to create a test. Okay, please copy the entire content of the HTML comment block below and use it in your very first prompt to the new Arrowhead instance. Yeah, and then what? Exhaustive exam for the new Arrowhead instance. This exam should be administered to the new Arrowhead instance after it has confirmed the receipt of these. Uh-huh. All right, so I'm just going to copy this exam. I made an exam for my new Arrowhead. Here we go. See how it does. Now, right after it finishes this exam, then what we're going to do is we're going to have a mock meeting. What do I mean by a mock meeting? Well, if we document, I can finally close some of these documents. I can close my calibration documents. I'm going to close Dave's. I'm going to keep open the games tab for Dave's ESO Cafe. Okay, doing with this exam. Must be a difficult exam. All right, I'm just going to pull this window out so it'll keep thinking. Oh, there we go. Okay, I've processed the 5 core documents. Maybe we'll do this one. We'll do audio with this one because this will be interesting. It'll definitely give you a very long and detailed overview of what we're trying to accomplish here. But before we do that, I may jump into Russian. We might do a Russian and a French version at the same time. Not really sure yet. But yeah, so we're back at unit number 1. If you're learning French for the first time, this is the place to be. If you're learning French for the 3rd time, like me, this is also the place to be. So I learned it once. I spent over a year trying to. If you go, you're here. You're in the actual Promenade Française YouTube channel, so you can actually see. You can see my history. You can see that I spent longer than a year trying to develop my own system for learning French, and then I just realized like it's very, very difficult. And then I had one of my coaching clients. She got accepted to do an MBA in Canada, and she got a $20,000 scholarship, and she's so happy. And then she read that if you're in Canada, then if you want to get some if you want to get some extra points on your immigration documents, then you should learn French. So she's like, "Hey, look at this book," and I was like, "Hey, cool book." And then so we went through the first 90. We went through the A1 level of this book, and then the next book is A2 level. But the thing is that, like, as you can see from my videos, in the 90-day challenge, I was like cheating, and I wasn't really practicing, and I was just trying to get like maintain the drive to finish the challenge and just get exposure and just really try to get a big overall picture of what the content of this book. And now that I've completed that task, then I'm going to bring everything together, and I'm going to try to, use AI. I mean, I had like I'm having really interesting conversations recently with my coaching clients because some of them don't really use AI. And I use AI all the time now, even more than I used to, and it's helping. I'm able to provide like very detailed and specific advice, like way better advice than before. Before, like I would provide thinking tools, and then I would try to help them to think through their problem, which was useful to some extent because it was able to give them a mode of thinking. But the issue with just giving somebody the mode of thinking is that, yes, now they have like access to some thinking tools and some methodology behind thinking, but that doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the motivation and drive to actually do the research. And if they don't have the motivation and drive to do the actual research, then you got a problem because they're never actually going to get the data and the knowledge base in order to find the answers to their problems. So now we got these AI tools. So now I'm actually like, I listen to what they tell me, and then I can like jump into one of my thinking tools, and then I can structure. So what they say to me, then I say it to Gemini, but I say it to Gemini not exactly what they said, but through a thinking tool methodology. And then it like restructures what they're saying, and it uses Gemini to pull in some like crucial data to answer the actual question or to solve the problem that they're talking about. So it's a much more effective way to do coaching because you're actually giving them the specific answer that they're looking for. Rather, like before, they say you can teach a man to fish. If you teach a man to fish, then they can fish their whole life for themselves. And if you just fish, then if you give a man a fish, you can feed him for a day. So what I'm doing is like, a lot of people are like, I don't need to know how to fish because right now I'm just trying to survive. So like, yeah, I do give a lot of fish out. And then, but what they're seeing is they're watching the process of how I use AI. So at the same time, I'm also teaching them to fish. And if you give them fish, if you actually give, let's say you're teaching somebody fish, and in the process of teaching them to fish, you first start, you always give them a fish first, and then you're fishing with them. And then they come back and they're like, okay, so let's learn to fish some more. And I'm also going to give you fish. And then they come back, and then you give them more fish, and you teach them to fish, and then they come back, and then they're like, "Whoa, I caught a fish!" And you're like, "There you go, you caught a fish." And then they're coming back because they like fishing. And then some of those people eventually they're just like, "Okay, so thank you for teaching me to fish. I love fishing. It's been really great, and thanks." And other people, I've been talking to some people for 2 years, 3 years. Has anyone passed 3 years? I think 3 years is 2, 3. I think 3 years is the longest. So this is audio is not going to work. So I guess it's too long. Now let's see what will happen if we just copy it. And paste it into our first guide. This is the guide that helped to make the calibration. Okay, so I processed the 5 core documents. I'm now ready to answer your questions solely on the... What the heck? What is the primary purpose? What the heck is this? Gordon, go. Stop doing that. I don't really get this. It's just printing the answers exactly as weird. It's just literally repeating what I just gave it. Yeah. Oh, it's been a long day. There's still 2 more things I gotta do. I gotta take the dog out for a walk. And then I gotta do my regular news, read the news, read Canadian news, and make an X post. And then there'll be enough time to lay down and just die. So I guess still time for anything else today, Gordon T. Gordon. He's looking to my eyes. He wants to know, can we go outside? Can we go outside? Little birdie bird, he wants to go outside. It's an excellent set of answers from a newly calibrated error. It demonstrates very strong grasp of the core documents, 100% accurate. Of course. It's not really the question, though. Out of 36 questions, 35 were answered perfectly. All right. Anyways, so I'm going to delete the other, I'm going to close the other window because you just have to get used to it. That's just how it works. Hello, Arrowhead. Hello, Arrowhead. Hello, Arrowhead. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello. Hello, Arrowhead. Hello. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe we'll just have to reboot it. Hello, Arrowhead. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good, good, good. All right. So this is what we want to do. We want to do a little test. And basically, the test is based on this thing I call alchemy. Alchemy, the creative center, it is the boardroom table. It's an image of a boardroom table. In fact, I can upload that image of the boardroom table. And based on the experience that you have understood, the information that you've understood through our calibration documents, you should understand that we have a number of characters or personas in our little team here. So we have Arrowhead, and then we have Architect, and then we have Liaison. And then on the Liaison team, there's 4 players, and on the Architect team, there's 4 players, and on the Arrowhead team, there are 6 players. So as we start to begin our first task, and as we begin our what we're going to be working on right now, I want you to take control over a conversation. And I want you to simulate a conversation based on the idea that we need to figure out what is the very next step. And so you could have a simulated conversation about what is the next step or what is the next series of steps. And then you need to decide which is the persona that will lead the discussion. And then you need to decide which of the team members are relevant for making this decision, which ones are responsible and accountable, maybe which ones are consulted, simulate a conversation, and then create an agenda for some tasks, and then explain who will be responsible for doing which tasks based on who in the team is specialized in that area. All right, so this is definitely an AI first approach because, well, if you haven't seen it yet, I can show you. I mean, obviously you've seen it. Here's my image. So right now in another window, beep bop boop. This is me. This is me in 2000. What 2000? When did I graduate? 2009. And then what happened? I worked in a private hospital in the marketing team in Shanghai. For some reason, I moved to Macau. I think I was chasing some girl around. And then eventually, then I went over to South Korea to do a little project and also get a new passport. And then I came back to Shanghai and I had an internship in a German law firm. And yeah, and then I moved to an American law firm. So it was in this American law firm where there were these meetings at the very beginning. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. And I figured everybody in the room knew what they were doing. Like this is what the room would look like. They're having this big meeting, and I was sitting in one of these positions. So we had like the Chinese company over here, we had the American company over here, and then we had our lawyers here. And I was kind of like, I wasn't the partner, but I was like the office. I was like, I guess the highest in the office at the time, which was ridiculous. But anyways, so I just like looked around and I'm like, these guys, they all seem like they know what they're doing. So I would just leave. Hey, we can't bill if you leave. And I was like, what? All right, let's see what there was about. So this is the more of how I prefer to have meetings. I can simulate the meetings between AI personalities and then leave. Now, can we get a voice? Because I would like to hear a voice before we finish this video off. Good. That's right. Good. Fantastic. Welcome. Thank you, liaison. What? Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's not supposed to exist. All right, this is getting a little bit. Wow, I don't think I could have listened to all that. Okay, I'm now officially commencing. No, I can't. We no longer have access to that document. We no longer have access to that document. We no longer have access. What's going on? We no longer have access to that document, and I specifically asked the people who created the calibration documents from before to remove any reference to these types of documents, which are not included in the 5 calibration documents, because we're no longer going to be able to have access to any of the documents outside of the 5 core calibration documents that I already gave you. So perhaps when we when we update the documents at the end of this AI instance, and when I calibrate a new arrowhead, then we need to remember to change the document so it no longer refers to other documents that are not included in the 5 calibration documents. And I still don't really understand what you're talking about. What is the next step? Using very simple and plain language, what is the very next step? Or if you can't figure out how to explain that, then list in bullet form what the next couple of steps might look like. No, that's not true. All right, so the thing is that there are some problems in the calibration docs. Right now, in fact, I want to explain this to the AI, and it can also use this, all right? All right, so I think that some of the calibration docs may have some problems, and it might not really understand the project as clearly as I would like it to understand. And so we're going to be discussing exactly what the project is about. And as we continue to discuss this project, then I hope that you'll be able to change the calibration documents in a way that will make them better and more focused on the specific things that we're working on right now. I would say in general that we are focused on 3 specific endeavors. So to some extent, yes, you've been correct, because you mentioned aspects of the AI first blog platform. And it's true that we need to create some kind of AI first blog platform. The second endeavor is about creating learning experiences for French and potentially Russian. That means that on the AI first blog platform, we're going to be adding some learning experiences. And maybe the learning experiences will have this two-pane framework, but I'm not really sure exactly. So when we talk about the two-pane framework, that two-pane framework, it kind of has some relevance to the AI blog platform design, and it also has some relevance to the how we're actually going to create these learning experiences, because the learning experiences should be created with the two-pane setup or format in mind. And also the AI first blog platform is there to actually provide the infrastructure so that I can paste these blog articles into the website. In addition to having so you can think of the AI blog platform as the foundation, because it is the place where we're going to be putting the blog articles. And then you can say that the learning experiences are the way that people interact with the website and also interact with the content. But I want to talk about a third endeavor, and it is this idea that when people are learning new languages, they often have this experience where sometimes their teacher speaks way better than them in that foreign language. And when your teacher speaks far better than you in a foreign language, it can be difficult for the teacher to change the way that they speak and really focus on the needs of the students, primarily because it's extremely boring for a person that has a high level of understanding of a language to communicate with someone with a very low level of understanding, and to make sure that they are focused specifically on exercises and using vocabulary and using grammar, which they have just learned, and not deviating from that core vocabulary. So I want to have a concept which I call iRobot. The iRobot Study Buddy is basically a robot, and it's your responsibility to train that robot. And so as you go through the learning experiences in the blog, the two-pane blog format, you're going to be learning a language. And then as you continue to learn that language, you will also have the responsibility to train your robot. And then you'll be able to communicate with your robot. So there'll be additional learning experiences that will be designed that you can work on as you help your robot to learn the language and as you communicate and get to know your robot. Now, the basis for all of these ideas is that in general, when you learn a language, you're going to have something, for example, a French textbook, and I can upload the textbook, or I can provide information from that textbook to you so that we can start to think about how to create that first blog post. And then also, when you're learning a language, you're going to have something like a French exercise book. And the French exercise book is going to have some exercises that will help you to practice the language, which the vocabulary and the grammar and the concepts that you learned in the textbook. Now, sometimes people, they want to learn from a textbook, but they also want to have access to other forms of media. Specifically, when you're learning a language, you want to have somebody who's actually speaking the words. And so often people have a teacher in person or a video online course or some way to listen to an actual lecture about the information which is presented in the French textbook. And in addition, sometimes the teacher is going to refer to some of the exercises or even go through the exercises with you. And so you're going to have access to a teacher or some online videos generally when you are learning a language, which give you better understanding of the French textbook and also the French exercise book. Finally, if you're a student, then often there are going to be other students inside of your class. And so you're going to be able to practice your language with other students who are basically have the same level of French as you do. Or you'll be able to hire an online tutor and practice with a tutor, or you'll be living in the country where you're going to have some real world practice and you have to use the words that you learned in the class directly in society. Now, because I'm living in a country that doesn't speak French, and because I want to be able to practice French, I do have a real world tutor But I also want to create this thing called iRobot. And the iRobot will be for all of those students who want to be able to practice, and they want to be able to practice with their classmate. And their classmate is only going to have the same level of French that they do. And so the iRobot and you are working together in a peer environment where you get to practice with each other. You get to work on the exercises in an AI first environment. And all of that experiences are going to happen on an AI first blog platform. All right, so that should add some context to the situation. Situation. And Gordon is really wants to go for a walk. Gordon, you're gonna die. Are you gonna die, little buddy? Okay. All right, so I got that out. So I just want to let's take a listen to this, and then that'll be it for today. User PM, thank you very much for that incredibly insightful and detailed explanation. Wow. No, we can't. Yeah, I want you to think of the first area as the French, the French project that I just described to you. And I don't want you to look at the focus area number one as my political and economic learning tool. Yeah, it's true that I do spend time listening to political and economic information on YouTube and other platforms. But for right now, I don't think that it is a primary means of content for creating this project or for moving forward. And I want the documentation to reflect that this is no longer a priority in our discussion or in anything that we are doing right now. And that the three things that I discussed earlier, which is to think about how to build an AI first blog platform, how to create the actual blogs, and then how to incorporate some kind of iRobot study buddy. These are the only endeavors that we should be focused on right now. Continue with that in mind. Okay, so here we are. What specific topic or concept from a French textbook? Okay, let's listen to this actually, because I read it and I wasn't sure if it was going to be on topic. And sometimes if it's not on topic, I just want to. But I think this is maybe exactly on topic. Unfortunately, this happens a lot. Good. Perfect. Exactly. We got it. So if you're doing if you're a filmmaker, this is when you got the take. This is you got the thing that you were set out to do. We, you know, we achieved the result that we were looking to achieve. I mean, because I even showed you. I said, look, we got our unit one from the textbook. We got our unit one from the exercise book, and you know, you could say, well, you're just it's copyright material. I mean, to some extent, yeah, okay. It depends. Like, if I'm actually taking a screenshot and then like I'm creating that, like, selling a piece of information based on this exact screenshot, I could see how that's violating copyright. But like just taking words, for example, like what's so it's like trouver le mot masculin correspondant. So it's like it says find the masculine form, the corresponding 写出相应的阴性词形. So it's like 词形, the form 阳性, the masculine form, 写出 write the what corresponding 相应 the corresponding masculine form, write the corresponding masculine form. It says find the word masculine correspondent. So femme is a woman and homme is a man. Madame, monsieur, étudiante with the E, étudiant. Voisine with the E, voisin. Français, française with the E, français. Espagnol, I don't know about this one. Allemande, allemande. Italienne, italien. So we got to learn some basic words, and apparently the most basic words are where are you from? I don't think you can copyright vocabulary. Anyways, thank you. With the iRobot Study Buddy project, the danger of the future is that men become robots. Obviously, I am not just one robot, but I have become a whole room of robots. So next time, what we're going to do is going to French the concept from the first unit of French. We're going to have a discussion with the group, and we're going to talk about how to create this blog article. See you next time on Promenade Française.